So boring in here. Can't believe they nearly caught me for making magazines. But just wait, once I get out of here, I'm gonna make all the magazines I want. There's nothing I'm gonna do about it. Let me out! Let me out! Oh, I wasn't doing anything. I don't know what you mean. Sorry, I kind of overslept. Okay. Anyways, shall we get started now? Gee, finally you're here. Anyways, what do you even want from me, huh? I ain't guilty of nothing. I'll tell you that right now. Not guilty of nothing, huh? Well then, mister, let me just say, we practically know that already that you were making magazines, alright? We have evidence. We have a lot of evidence. We have a photo of your tripod. We have a photo of you in the magazines. Are you saying that you were not in the magazines? Here, you know what? I'll show you the evidence soon. But first, why don't you just admit it already, alright? You know what you're being charged of here. You know the consequences of making a magazine. So, I'm sure you don't want to face those, alright? So, let me just give you a deal here. Alright? Here's what I'm offering, alright? If you confess to everything, then I will let you go. Scotch-free. It's a very, very generous offer. Why don't you just take the deal and go off with your day? If you're so confident about yourself, then why don't you show me the proof, huh? Oh, really? You don't think we have proof now, huh? You think I'm just being confident for nothing? Let me show you what I have here. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Here, take this. Right? Let's see how confident you are now. Alright, let me read this because I got handcuffs on. You didn't make this easy now, did you? Alright then. I see. You know what? I've never seen any of those items in my life. Give me these back. So you're saying that you've never seen any of those in your life? You've never seen any of those in your life, really? You're the one who's literally on the front cover of the magazine, and you're telling me you've never seen any of those in your life? Okay, you know, that's not even all the evidence we have. Not only do we literally have you on the front cover of the magazine, but we also just so happen to have, like, you know that tripod I showed you on the evidence? We found your fingerprints on it. Alright? Then we also found an iPhone 11 Pro with your fingerprints on it next to the tripod. Like, you just kind of left it there. Alright? And then you've realized the consequences of this. This is my last offer I'm giving you. This is your last chance to accept it. If you don't accept it now, then you're just gonna face the consequences. I'm being generous here. I know it don't seem like it, but this is the only chance you got. Why don't you just confess about it? Confess about making the magazine. Come on. Go on. Do it. Do it. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, and? Oh. Oh, you have... Oh. Alright. Alright, fine. I tell you. But you have to stick to your word, alright? Stick to your word. Alright. Well, since you really needed to know, I'll tell you. Right, let me get comfortable here so that I can do a whole story here. Alright, so you guys already found a tripod like that was in this thing here you already showed me. So here's how I did it, alright? With a tripod, I took this like big old tripod. It's like 6 feet tall, something like that. It's taller than me, right? That's what you have to know, right? And essentially, I had this iPhone 11 Pro, which had like this camera lens in which I took photos with. I mean, how else am I gonna take the photos for the magazine, the cover, the table of contents, the 2-page spread, all of that? I needed a way to take photos of myself. And like, of course, I could try and just find a way to like put my phone on the environment, like place it like here, hope it stays still. But no, that's just unrealistic. So I had to have like this big old like 6 foot or something tripod. And what I use that for is after I would figure out how I wanted to frame my photo, like if I wanted to wear this or that, if I wanted to look like a prisoner for some reason, then I would just basically dress myself up, and then I would put the thing next to, well, like in front, where like facing the background I wanted. And well, you guys don't have a tripod that works, because like you just put it however you want. If you want to your whole body, I put it further. If I wanted more or less, I put it closer. If I wanted closer, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Then, like I said, to take photos, I use the iPhone 11 Pro. Yeah, I gave you your information. Are we done here? Can I go? Oh, you think we're done? You only gave us the information we already know, alright? So we already knew you took those photos, but like, how do you get those photos to look so good, alright? Like the lighting. I know you are not no professional photographer who did all that lighting. You must have edited those photos. Alright? I know you did. Just admit it already. Tell me how you did it, alright? And we can just lay you off like that. Tell me how you edited the photos. Did you have some special software? What? I know you had something. Just come on, tell me. Wow, you really are a good detective, huh? If you realize I had to edit those photos. Well, if you already figured it out, then I may as well tell you all about my photos too. Maybe we can get out of here faster. Here's how I edited them, alright? So, I had some software, alright? So first of all, I had to get rid of the background. It was pretty easy to do that. There was just this website called remove.bg. I put an image in there, and then the image comes out without a background. It was very useful because it got rid of walls, it got rid of lamps, etc. Anything that I didn't need in a photo. So this was really useful, especially in like making the cover, because like I had to like have a plain background for like a cover, because that's how R&B magazines typically do it. And I couldn't do that if I had a background, of course, because the whole point was to remove the background and have a plain background. So it was also useful because like I just got to like put my face in the middle and all of that and all. Yeah, you can basically tell why a remove background would be really useful. And it was easy to use. Like I didn't even have to do anything once I put in the image. It was just bam, it's a removed background. Alright, so now after I got the removed background, there was this other like website I used called Pixlr, Pixlr.com. So what I did in Pixlr is I took my removed background image, I put it into there, and then in Pixlr there was like this thing over here with like a whole bunch of tools, and in those tools was a darken and lighten tool. So I put in like a photo of my face, and I would darken one side, lighten the other. That would add contrast, emphasis, etc. And what that would do is basically follow the conventions of R&B with the contrast, the high emphasis, and yeah, it worked really well. I eventually did get better at the like editing with the darkening and lightening. Like notice how like in the table of contents, like I probably look better lighted. That's not because of the lamp or nothing, or the lighting. And when I actually took the photo, it's all because of the editing I did in Pixlr with the lightening and darkening. And then there was also one big issue though. Alright, whenever I did a photo, whenever I darkened and lightened it, it would add little pixels on the edge, making it look jagged. I didn't even know that it was doing this until everybody on my feedback was telling me how, hey, your photos look like they weren't edited properly. Hey, maybe take better photos. Hey, everybody in the product was saying, hey, maybe clean up your photos and take a better photo. All of that. So then that really made it apparent that I had to do something about those jagged edges. And I finally figured out it was the darkening and lightening that added that, just because of the Pixlr, that in particular as a software. And so due to that, I eventually took 45 more minutes after the 20 minutes I did to figure out it was adding pixels rather than subtracting pixels, to finally come up with the solution that I would add my original image on top of it, mask it above, remove remove everything behind it so that it would just come out back to the smoothness of the original image, and then delete the original image, and I would leave a perfectly a perfect darkened and lightened photo underneath. So I really wish I did that from the start, but next, there was also another feature in Pixlr which was pretty useful for when I created my 2-page spread. It was a drop shadow. So like while I was scrolling through Pixlr looking at all its effects, I noticed there was this one called a drop shadow I could add. I could put a like shadow over here, up, down, blah blah blah, like my overall figure. And I could like change how dark I wanted it to be, how light I wanted it to be. It was great. And so this was useful because like other than just like going for like this much of like this much of a width, I can go to this much of a width just by adding that, and that allowed me to take more of the 2-page spread to cover up, so that my 2-page spread didn't look empty, it looked more filled, which was what I was kind of aiming for. So yeah, that was really nice to have. Then there was one last thing, of course, like if I have all the images, you probably figured I had to construct it somehow, put it all together to make my final product. So what I did is, there was this thing called Canva, and you know Canva? Everybody knows Canva. So it has some text over here, like I had this thing, it had text. I would add my images in, like construct them, like position them, size them up, which allowed me to put my face big so you would see my face, alright? You couldn't escape it. Anyways, so I would then add like a text above it. But one thing I didn't realize is at very first, but I did eventually realize, is that in Canva you could outline your text. That took a little while to realize. I wish I realized that first, because I was struggling trying to make my text like actually noticeable compared to everything else that was going on. But eventually I realized after looking it up how to do an outline in Canva that there was an outline. So I did that, and it was really useful because then I could actually see my text compared to everything else. And yeah, so it was good for constructing, putting something here, putting something down there. There were also like these like little like red lines I would add in the table of contents and 2-page spread. Those were all from Canva. I just like made a line, made it big, made it a little bit wide, changed the color. Oh yeah, and it was easy to find the colors too. I could look up a color and there were many variations of that color. So that's basically all the software I use. Well, it is all the software I use. Here. You want to know one more thing though I didn't mention about hardware? Technically, I use Chromebooks too, alright? But I don't have those with me. They were at the school. Alright, so if you want all the evidence, you're gonna have to figure out about those Chromebooks. I have something similar. I know about this one other computer that looks really similar. I can use as a comparison here. If you let me out, I can go get it. No? Fine. Alright, well, can you at least let me go now? I just told you everything. Is there anything else? Anything else whatsoever? By the way, about that Chromebook, it was just like an ordinary computer, but with a smaller screen. That's all you gotta know about that. I didn't really use those too much whatsoever as hardware. But now can I go, though? Because I told you all the information. You gotta stick to your word. I'm sure there's nothing else you gotta know. Alright, good. Good. You're finally telling us good or valuable information. But we still have one last thing. Alright. What was that again? Oh yeah. Okay. So the last question we have for you now. Who ordered you to do this? Like did anybody tell you to make a magazine? And how did you get the instructions on how to make a good magazine? And also, where did you communicate? Like, where do you overall have your communication derive? That's all we need to know, lastly. Alright? Come on, why don't you just tell us? There's only one more thing, then you can leave peacefully. You want to know how I communicated with my product? How I got it across? Oh, that's simple. So, basically, because I want to get this wrapped up, I'm just going to tell you this real quick. There was Blogger and Google Classroom. Those are the two things I used. In Blogger, I would post my blogs full of like my research, and as I like grew research on my magazine, so I would know what I'm gonna do for the magazines. Like if I wanted my covers to have like certain color schemes, like I researched everything about colors and like the triadic color schemes, all of that stuff. Alright, and I posted it to the blogger so that everybody knew. That's also why I posted the magazine itself in like blog, in like my second to last blog. And now you're actually seeing this on the blog spot, aren't you? Yeah, I bet you are. Anyways, whoever's watching this from this cameras over there, not you. You're watching me in person, but what's that last thing? Oh yeah, Google Classroom. And then there was Google Classroom where a teacher would tell me what to actually do. They would instruct me how to do it. You see, so it wasn't me, it was their idea. Alright, they gave me the idea that I had to make a magazine in the first place, so I don't know why you're blaming me. But yeah, that's basically all. Now can I go? Because in Google Classroom, oh yeah, you want to know what I would do different. Anything I would do different? I would procrastinate less on doing my things because I was late, I think like 90% of the time. I would probably pay more attention to how long it took to make a blog because I didn't realize it would take like 3 hours, sometimes 5 hours actually sometimes, especially in that color scheme one. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would manage my time more efficiently when I was on those websites such as Google Classroom. Well, I would get the notifications like a week beforehand, but I would do them the day beforehand. That was a bad idea. And then there was, of course, Blogspot, which I did it about the same time. But I also wish I knew how to organize the images in like a better format at first. That was an issue. But yeah, there, I told you all the information. Can I finally go now? Huh, so that's how you did all that. Alright. Well, I think I gotta go. Nice talking to you. But I got things to do, you know. Yeah. Good luck. Where are you going? Hey.